It's time for Cutting Edge Consciousness with Freeman Michaels and Barnet Bain. Thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
Welcome to Cutting Edge Consciousness. Freeman Michaels here.
Good moment with Barnet Bain. You notice anything different?
The license is out.
Is that in shot?
It's in the master, yeah.
For any of you that are driving in your cars, you can.
We have a license.
Yeah, we're licensed. We're licensed to thrill. Is that exciting? Look at that. And I like, Spence, how it's in your grandmother's frame.
He stole that from his grandma's
He stuck that for. Where is the picture of
that went in it?
Your grandmother's
first fish.
30th anniversary picture?
That's
finished.
Right.
It's on the back of the KTVA Fine Studio permission slip. Freeman and Barnett have permission to broadcast this afternoon. We're per Gold Coast Broadcasting. It's fantastic. We should hang that. It's good to see you.
It's good to be seen.
And God, we have a fabulous guest. I've been waiting a long time to have our guest with us today. Preston Smiles is with us here today. Want to say a little hello to Preston?
Can I just say this? When you said, notice anything different, I was like, oh, the chocolate man in the corner. Like, that's what they're talking about.
Oh.
No, we would have put a frame on you
Exactly.
if we had got there.
Yeah.
But it's, that's only the first half of the show. Stay tuned. We'll see what we can do.
Chocolate man in the corner.
We can see what we can do.
Well, Preston, for our audience who don't know him, is the co-founder of the Love Mob. And
if you haven't loved with Preston, you haven't loved.
Questions with Preston and working on all kinds of crazy things. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm pumped. Let's go. Let's do this.
Let's get it done. Let's get it loved.
Yeah.
Let's get it mobbed.
So, look, I'll kind of cue this up in terms of my Love Mob experience because I was introduced to you.
You got mobbed.
Through a mutual friend.
Am I in frame?
Are you what?
Am I in frame? Am I all framed up there?
Yeah.
Just mixing it up.
All right, good.
This is reality radio.
It's awfully real. My first experience of the Love Mob was, now I know you're going to correct me on the title. I don't remember the title. It was the Warehouse one. What was that called?
The Beat.
The Beat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really an amazing experience of just this incredible collection of people gathered under the premise of love mobbing, which you can define what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It's a verb, right? To love mob. I love mob. You love mob. We love mob.
Yeah. What's the plural of it? Love mobbers?
Mobbage.
Amo love a mobbus.
There's a few things that struck me. One of the things I thought was amazing was the music and the beat. It's so appropriate. It's called The Beat. Evoked a kind of euphoric thing. Like there was the energy kept getting higher and higher as the night went on, and how people fed in and contributed to it was quite remarkable. And then the Love Mob event at the Grove, that was called something.
Yeah, that was called One Giant Mob, which is
I am
huge.
blown away that you could. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
unreal. Do you remember everybody's name that was there?
Not at all. Not at all.
You got some answering to do.
Exactly. I'm in trouble in the best way possible. Yeah, One Giant Mob is a yearly thing that we do on the anniversary of the Sandy Hook school shooting.
Which was the sort of impetus for this in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So tell us.
Say more about that.
How did it all come to be?
So the Love Mob is organized acts of love. We're just like the mob, but we do it for love. We come together in the name of love to raise the flag, to be dope, to be fun, to get it in, to get it out, to do whatever we can to champion the other side of the one coin, which is our understanding is that love is all there is, and that everything opposing that is an illusion. So we create such a powerful lane over here that instead of people looking at, let's say, CNN or anything else that's constantly negative, we bring it here and make it about what is working, and we celebrate what is happening, and our diversity is not actually that diverse. So our understanding is that underneath our stories about being black, white, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, all of these titles that we put on ourselves, underneath all of that, whenever there is a tragedy, everybody comes together. Everybody gets together and they raise the flag and we help each other out. But the idea is to do that beforehand, to just have it just because. So we do 7 different versions of Love Mobs. One is called The Beat, which is a 300-person interactive jam session. And that is about the heartbeat and the beat of the rhythm. And because we're so rich in talent in LA, like you guys, we never run out. Like, I could spin around, close my eyes, and be like, you, get up here. And like,
it was amazing.
It happens.
You have to come to some of these. This was really
fun.
ridiculous.
Well, you're doing one in my house.
Oh, that's right. The
Yeah.
bonfire one.
Yeah, I'm coming for the bonfire one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the Sandy Hook one. So the Love Mob started with an understanding that we were already doing Love Mobs. We were having dinner parties and conscious events with all of these beautiful people who weren't just talking but putting action behind it. And when the Sandy Hook shooting came around, we already had in place a Love Mob set up. That was going to be the first one. But when that happened, we realized that we were being used, that at that point, it wasn't just about, us coming together. It was about celebrating not only the lives of the kids that were shot there, if they were ever shot, but also the kids in Iraq and Iran and Africa and all across the board, that we were there to celebrate their lives. And the crazy part was that, on Facebook, because we do all this through social media, which is another awesome part, because you damn near get 1,000 people out off of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. On Facebook.
And the videos go out and get tens of thousands of views, which is another way the whole thing spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
So on Facebook, we only had, I believe, 200 people RSVP'd, which anybody who understands the law of numbers, that means only probably like 80 people were usually going to show up. If you have 200 people RSVP'd. Well, like 600 showed up. And that was, I remember, because it was a flash mob, I remember having that moment right before 2 o'clock when we were going to do the flash mob where I was like, oh my God.
There's
like,
a lot
I
of
don't
people
even
out
want to
here.
do this anymore. There's too many people. And we did it, and it was magic, and it was perfect. And ever since then, we've been mobbing it up, doing the damn thing.
And it's catching on. I mean, it's catching fire. People are talking about it. I hear about it here and there, and in surprising places.
Yeah, it's
And,
happening.
I'm excited about it. I am excited. Most of all, I'm excited because we have been in a community for a very long time that doesn't have young faces.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited that these mobs are filled with young faces.
They do a lot of beatboxing. You're going to have to work on your boots and cats.
Exactly.
Barnett, for those of you tuned in recently,
I'm going to have
Barnett
to spend a
tried
little time and
desperately.
get coached by Spence.
yeah,
and,
to learn how to beatbox.
Yeah, we'll see what we
We'll have to figure out another talent for Barnett.
I mean, if you got some flows, I can bust a beat for you, and you can.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do that definitely.
Come on, Barnett.
I'm feeling a little dehydrated right now.
Don't
I'm a
get
little
out of this.
dehydrated.
I think you got
it's
some rhythm
so-
under there. I feel it.
You're going to have to dig really, really deep. But between the three of you, I get some rhythm coaching. We may find something. I may be able to actually.
I did it. They got me going, and I came up with something.
Okay, well, I trust you. So you take me there. You guys take me there. You ready,
Yeah.
Spence? Yeah, that's right. What?
Exactly.
Exactly. What? So I'm in on it. I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
That's so good. Yeah, but again, it's really powerful. Even the awkwardness is powerful because the spirit of support is amazing. And
I want to
just-
say something about the awkwardness.
yeah, go ahead. You're familiar with that part.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
Very
I
familiar
felt
with
that from you as soon as we met.
Exactly.
Clear. It's
Exactly.
awkward.
It's your awkward.
That awkwardness is so poignant.
It's so poignant.
It's so poignant, and to make a space for that kind of awkwardness, which you alluded to the first time you came back, and you said there are just all kinds of people there that show up so really and with such an authenticity.
And there is a guy, I told you about this guy, the guy who we were talking about him, who at first I'm like, who is this guy? What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And he was so committed that what I initially judged became so beautiful and so profound. It was the anti-stereotype. I don't even know how to describe that. But it was like, again, the space was created where people threw themselves in such a way that what first started as awkward transmuted to utterly beautiful.
The judgment is suspended, and it allows people to be and to express and to share and to make relationship with who they really are and to see another for who they really are.
Well,
that's the power of it.
What's awesome right now, particularly, and I'm seeing this across the board with the baby boomers and the millennials and all of that stuff, which is none of it's real, but I'm finding that humans are different these days. When I was growing up, I'm 33 years young. Really, I'm infinite. People would identify with something and just be that. And now, you know, to your point, you know, the skinny, awkward Asian kid walks in, and you have an idea about who that is.
Oh, dude, I had no idea until he got up there. I was like thinking,
he's the national beatbox champion.
That guy is out of control.
Of the world right now.
Barnett, he looks like he's straight off the cover of like Student Daily at UC Berkeley or something. There's no way this guy can throw down.
I love it.
And he went right after Mustafa, who's like, you know, powerful and like, and just killing it. And then up pops this guy, and I'm like, what is going on?
Totally.
And he threw down. But lots of people did. You know, the dancing was just ecstatic, and there was just this permission. Here's a little distinction. I have been around some free dance, some ecstatic dance, and it's fine. It's cool. It's interesting. But it's kind of a hippie thing, right?
Flowy,
but there's almost a conformity in that non-conformity, right?
Big time.
This was so eclectic. It's the most diverse and eclectic group of people I've ever been around. So they weren't putting parentheses around or little quotation marks around their differentness. It was just flipping. I said to you, it's cool. The one thing this Love Mob has going on that I'm really blown away by is it's cool, which means it's relatable. It's not trying to be different for different sake. It's not trying to make a statement, right?
Yeah.
That's
It's
a big
just us.
deal.
It's just us.
Yeah.
You know, at the core of it, like I said before, when it all comes down to it, you know, right now, if there was an earthquake right this minute, we would immediately become family. No matter how close we were prior,
we'd recognize our interdependence.
We'd be linked in, really. And what we do with these love mobs is we set up a container where that is we set the bar very high out the gate. And the videos, everything we put out is letting you know that. In 3 days, we dance the night away. In 2 days, we go all the way in. In 1 day, and nothing we do has drugs or alcohol in it. Because we understand we are that. Right. And when we tap into the frequency and we decide, make the decision that we are going all the way, there's no possible way. Just like right now, as my energy builds, you feel it. Why? Because we're so connected. And understanding that and using it in a way in which it lifts the vibration on the planet is the idea of the Love Mob. Our idea is, our mission statement is to reconnect 3.6 billion people to the power of community through entertainment and education. And we blend those things and mash it up and call it us.
You're also, you have a wonderful presence on the net and on YouTube and elsewhere. You're a voice for a lot of new thought, a young voice for a lot of new thought. How's that working out?
It sucks. I mean, I want to quit right now, and no, it's great, man.
Yeah,
it's great. It's absolutely.
And
great.
what kind of response are you getting?
You
Quit.
know, people are like on fire. It's really trippy. I went and led a workshop in Colorado a couple weeks ago, and some of the people there came up and they said, "Listen, I never get like, you know, whatever, but I got to tell you, man, you've changed the entire my entire framework of how to make a conscious video. Like there's the Brendan Bouchards and these people who just sit in front of a camera, and then you get up there and you're dancing around and you're jumping off of walls and then it's like, yeah, that's me. I'm choosing to be my snowflake. I understand that there is no possible way, as dope as you are, Barnett, you could never be me, and I could never be you. And my understanding is that when my fire gets going, there's some stuff that comes through. I turn into to Bashar in a sense, my own version of that, and what comes through is what comes through. And you know, before we would say, well, you're an artist, and you're a stockbroker, or no, it's all of it. I'm blending it all.
Cross-categorized.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I want to talk about Barnett's dopeness.
Yeah, Barnett is a beast.
We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back with my dope.
Exactly.
Welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness, thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
Bring us back.
Oh, welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness. I'm Freeman Michaels and Barnett Bain.
All in one. All wrapped
Yes.
up. All wrapped up in one. Yeah,
you know,
we're
there's
glad to
very
be back.
few people in the absolute last second
Yeah.
that I can just throw it to and know that they'll be just fine. Preston is one of them.
Thank you.
Preston is
Yeah,
the one.
because you know this is the part. We'll get to Barnett's dopeness.
Oh,
but
good.
We will, I promise. But
Please, no.
but
We're one.
the degree to which Preston, you handle things spontaneously, that's a really great attribute. That unplanned is better. You'll be okay. And that's actually something that we've been, Barnett and I have been working on for a while, is to have more of a spontaneous life, which is really just trusting there's enough of a response system within us. We've become self-aware enough, trustworthy to ourselves enough that whatever comes at us, we'll be able to handle it.
Well, that's the big game. I think that's the big game. Certainly the big game for me is to be confident enough in my ability to respond to life so that I don't have to constantly be banking on what was. And that's really challenging. What are we looking at?
Barnett, you have to stop. It's not about you. All right, let's talk about technical problems. Let's go.
Oh, is that what that is? So yeah, to be able to be present enough in order to deal with life from our own resources. That spontaneity is, I think, is what we're growing towards. What we're looking to be increasingly in the moment, reliant on our own gifts and strengths and our own abilities, our own resources and raw materials, with a deep enough awareness of how we respond and why we respond, and close enough with that so we can put it into neutral. And make maybe new choices, but in the moment, that sort of spontaneity. It is all about improv, conscious improv.
So one of the things that is part of his dopeness in the By the Way department is the awkwardness.
I'm making a list.
Because I'm going to go back to the guy who got up and I was like, this is awkward. But his awkwardness is actually very much integrated into his point of view and his sort of performance, which reminds me of Barnett. Because Barnett, when things go wrong, instead of like glossing over them so that no one notices, Barnett goes, look, something went wrong.
Guys, it's not working over there.
This is awkward. It's like, okay, there's two ways to go. We can avoid it or we can amplify it. Let's go with amplifying it. But I mean, it is a characteristic.
I learned that in Oz.
That's good.
That's great.
But
It was my big Oz takeaway.
That is great. Yeah, I know. That's so. Let's go with the falling apart or whatever it is.
I think it's
So that's an attribute of your dopeness.
I appreciate it. And what comes up for me and the practice that I've been like ruminating in and sitting in is dancing between that masculine and feminine. You know, where I'm, you know, I can get so type A and like driven and there's the mountain and I'm gonna get the mountain, and then I'll just be like, whoa, hold on, dude, It's the journey, not necessarily the destination. And every single time throughout history and for yourself that you got to the destination, you then realize like it was about all that. It was like the breakups. Like I tell my friends and the people I'm coaching, you know, the 2 and the 3 is just as important as the 1. So like I have my 1, right? My girl, ooh, love her. Bam, Alexi, amazing. But the 2 and the 3 were just as awesome. They set me up.
That's right.
They set me up.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's like my first wife. What a
A
gift.
shout out to your first wife.
Shout out to the first
to
one.
the first-
Exactly.
I'm sure she'd love
she's
to
thrilled
know.
to hear it. She's
What a
thrilled.
gift.
She's very relieved to know.
I'll give
She's
her a
like, I got
call.
no kids.
Exactly. And best of all, do not have that man.
That's right.
I like your current wife.
That's
Truth
the
be
point.
told.
But I wouldn't have, if I had not gone through what I went through with the first wife, I probably would have had to do that with the current wife, and she probably wouldn't be my wife anymore.
The starter wife.
I had to sort of run down a
I
certain
just did
road.
one and done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rare these days. But
It is, right?
I think we're on the upswing as far as that goes, because our generation has watched your generation and went,
Not so good.
hell no. We're not doing that. Hey, we're not going to do the corporate thing. And that's the thing. Like, businesses right now, in my perception, are struggling when it comes to trying to get us to buy stuff.
Yeah, you're not
Because-
even buying cars.
No.
You're not buying cars.
Nope.
I know guys who have no license.
Nope.
You at least have a license.
I do. But we don't care. We don't care about that stuff. That dream of the truck and the dog and the family and the picket fence and all of that stuff, that's like, dude, are you serious?
Wait a second. I missed that dream.
Oh, yeah.
The truck and the dog and the picket fence.
And,
I never had
No,
that.
it was station wagon.
There we
Station
go.
wagon.
I
Whatever
didn't
it
do a
is.
station wagon.
And if you grew up in a certain neighborhood, it was a Volvo station wagon. If you grew up in my neighborhood, it was
That's like another
it
generation.
was,
though,
a,
isn't
it
Isn't
was
that one more.
a County Squire was the name. That was the wood.
Oh, and the
panels.
chartreuse. There was always like
Yeah.
chartreuse, right?
You paid extra for that. You lived in a nicer neighborhood than I did because we weren't buying
I
that.
saw
We got
a few too many
panels.
chartreuse and wood paneled. I had to leave that city. I had to leave that country.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
I did.
But this idea.
So to your point.
Yeah.
Well, to your point.
Well, you can make it. I was just going to say this idea of, shuffling the deck and picking from a different set of priorities, which you amplify. What we've talked about recently that correlates this is I see that going more towards a freelance life, freelancers. It's not easy to be a freelancer, but you make your own jobs. You make your own titles even. What do I call myself? I don't know. Let me make something up. Because people want to have a title for me. Great. I get to make it
And
up.
because we are freelancers, all of us, all the time, in all
That's the
ways.
truth of
and
the
that's
matter.
what is beginning to
Yeah.
be owned and discovered is that there was a time in my life when I thought if I had a job, I've never really had a job, but if I had a job, it would be great I could have some control. Then if there are times in your life when you think you will never have a health issue, you will never have a love issue, you will never have those kinds of personal challenges and crises. And in the process of living, eventually come to discover that I am always freelance. It is always only up to me. Yes, I can have the support of friends and loved ones, but it is always only up to me to meet those certain challenges. The veils of delusion fall away, and we realize that we are always 100% responsible for our lives in all ways.
And the companies that
Yes.
get that, the Googles, that don't hire for positions, they hire talent. And then their idea is to help people self-organize into positions or to take on responsibilities. That's a new model.
Yeah.
But in terms of the world we live in, it's required because everything's moving too fast that if you're going to be innovative, to have everyone compartmentalized and defined so tightly by something that is imposed onto them.
Yeah.
You might apply for it, but I'm applying to be this narrow projection.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll apply to be that. Not anymore. The
Yeah.
So
companies of
your
the wise don't do it.
generation absolutely lives in that way. What do you have to enlighten us? Because it is so mysterious to me. I understand it, but it's mysterious to me in how it's being lived out in such a mass way.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. This generation, like I was on the beach in Puerto Rico yesterday, and I watched 3 different groups of girls and guys take their phone and hit the button where it turns into a mirror so you can take a selfie and just like watch themselves. And they watched themselves for quite a bit. And I was baffled by it. So I'm like, what the heck?
Because they're smoking hot. That is why.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But we've been taught that our worth comes from something external. So with the introduction of social media and Instagram and things like that, we've become this super narcissistic like generation where it's all about how things look. And the status symbols are no longer a car per se. And now they become your clothes. They become your social media followers. They become like how sexy you can be because then you have 250,000 followers. Like it baffles me. Some of the most ignorant people have like 300,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter. And that is being rewarded. The more they go, the more they get, and so there's a interesting checks and balances thing that has to happen, and the integration of traditions is where I stand at, because I know that let's say call it the baby boomers didn't get it all wrong. They definitely have gotten a lot right, especially during the 60s. The only thing is the drug use outweighed the ideas and the concepts that they were walking towards. And now that's the idea of the love mob. Our hashtag is community is the new money. So we know that within the community, we can get it all done.
That's the title of our show today.
Yeah.
Community is the new money.
Done.
Couple things.
Yeah, I just said like 4 million different topics. I get that.
It's so great, though.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we'll be back with Sybil in 1 second.
The piece of getting that ignorance gets a lot of followers. I think of that in talk radio because, the kind of screamers who are railing or ranting against whoever they decide to rant against, conservative versus liberal versus conservative, doing the punditry. The person who's willing to do shock value to get the largest splash, and this incessant attention needing kind of game, because we have elevated celebrity in our culture, like that having there's no such thing as bad publicity is this like huge lie. There is such a thing as bad publicity. Sure. Hold on a second, just the biggest splash you can get and the ramifications of that. So, I mean, it's interesting because we like to embrace paradox around here. So there's these fascinating ways where there's complexity in all of this, right?
Yep.
You doing gang signs now?
Yeah, we're embracing paradox.
It was like throwing down.
I'm not that dope.
I adore
I used to be in a gang, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was fun, but not really.
Yeah.
So I want to open this up a little bit. Go ahead.
You're opening.
Kidding. I was opening, but I thought that you looked like you wanted to insert into my opening. That's really rude.
That's messed up, Freeman.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like seriously?
No, so I want to open this up. What is the most exciting thing that is on deck for you right now?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on in your life.
I know
a little. So
There are quite a bit. Finishing my book. I'm at the tail end of that.
Book's called?
The book is called Love Louder. And it is 31 tips and challenges to becoming love's voice. I hashtag everything love's voice. And I believe that love's voice gets to be louder than hate's. And we get to do that as a collective.
I know, Preston, what is the biggest thing right now?
What?
It's your relationship.
Yes.
It's this embarking on this life partner. You guys are headed.
You're going life?
That's definitely in the cards, for sure.
Life.
He's a lifer.
Yeah.
He joins Barnett and I soon.
Whatever that means.
When we do the wives show, we'll have to drag you and your
Yeah.
significant other in here.
Mm-hmm. You know, for a long time I said that I would get married, but not through the government, and that my vows would say that I'm going to love you until I don't. And
that'll be about a week and a half.
It's gonna be a very short wedding.
But I find that that takes the societal pressure off of what already has proven to not work. Looking at the divorce rates right now, 90% of the people can't tell me that the way that it's been introduced to us is quote unquote right. So I'm willing to step out on the skinny branches and try something new.
Right.
I'm willing to be the guinea pig in a sense and see what happens if I just truly love somebody from all my heart.
Yeah, we're back to the spontaneity piece. Enough personal authority that you can do things different.
Yeah.
That's all we're talking about, right? It isn't jumping on the skinny branch because, look, it'll be cool to be on a skinny branch. Be careful, that may break. But the idea that you can do things differently because you have enough self-knowing, personal authority, wisdom that you can rewrite the rule book, as it were.
So when you're rewriting the rule book, we all have to take responsibility for our own rule book. So I am totally with you on that, and I love that you're modeling it. There is a piece in the living of life that ritualizes, makes through our when I use the word ritualize, I'm referring to what you are already doing with Love Mob, which is to create an expression in living that that makes sacred a kind of communion.
Yes.
And when I look at the way people have held marriage and marriage vows, what I find that is beautiful, you have to dig, is that there is a ritual that, if it's interpreted in this way, and we always do our own interpretation, there is an opportunity there to make it an act that makes sacred the commitment to love with a full heart and a full mind, and the expectation that I will look at any obstacles and resistances that come up against the fullness of my expression. And if something happens, then something happens. But my commitment is commitment. There is no turn back from my commitment.
Boom.
So,
hey, we
as
have
somebody
a
that
commitment we have to honor.
I know, but I'm going to pretend there's no break.
Okay.
So
we keep doing that.
we can do it because we write our own rules, and already they took our license away.
That's right.
So as somebody who has a very deep intimacy with creating ritual, I'm curious how you are beginning to feel about creating a new ritual around this this love relationship.
Can he do that after the break?
I'm going to give him 30 seconds,
Okay.
30 seconds to think this out there in the break, and we will be right back with Preston Smiles, the Love Mob, and Freeman.
Welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness, thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
And welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness. Freeman Michaels here with Barnet Bain and Preston Smiles of the Love Mob.
We were going.
new rules.
We were going straight
You're
into.
You're writing your own vows. You're writing your own rule book. You're writing your own whatever it is.
What
And
might that ritual look like?
There you go.
We're not going to hold it to you. We'll just trot it out at the day and date.
Yeah. So this is, freestyle. This freelancing freestyle.
Yeah, freelancing.
But it would be some version of what exists already with a few little adjustments. Because my understanding is whoever I'm in partnership with, we are staring at some version of the same mountain. And how we get to that mountain, I'm not married to. That's just gonna happen. But I am committed to the mountain. I'm committed to the journey with that person. And my understanding is that love never goes anywhere, that it transmutes itself. And just as important as I talked about, I look at my parents and I know that they had many purposes on this planet, one of which was to create me because I'm freaking awesome.
Yeah,
right?
you are.
So they needed to come together, to play this game, to do this thing, and then to go off on their individual journeys and to continue that. And I don't look at that and call that bad. In our society right now, we judge long as good and short as bad. I watch it happen all the time. How long have you guys been together? Oh, 20 years. Ah, yay. Yeah. 20 years
we
unhappy.
We haven't spoken in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. 20 years unhappy. 20 years no sex. 20 years, whatever those things are. I don't champion that. I don't look at somebody who says we've been together 40 years and I can see their death in their eyes. That doesn't excite me at all. That's not sexy. So in order to keep it sexy, we're going to set up some version of being true to what's really there, with an understanding that we're looking at the same mountaintop. And with my best friend, Brown, right? Brown and I have been best friends since I was 5 years old. That's a long time. And throughout that journey, we have come together, we have split apart. We have come together, we have split apart. He's been a whatever, and I've been a this. I've been super judgmental, he's been super... The whole thing is absolutely perfect, but we understand one key component, is that we're looking at the same mountaintop. At the end of the day, we will always be friends. At the end of the day, I will always love Alexi Panos. How that transmutes itself throughout the next 30, 40, 50 years, let's see. Let's see. That's where I'm at. My vows will say, let's see.
I love it. And there'll be a big mob there.
Exactly. We'll mob it.
We're going to mob the wedding. So a little kind of radio scoop. When's this happening?
Oh, yeah, no, we're not even gonna go there. No.
What I
try to make a little news here.
Nice.
Come on,
Heck no.
Work with us.
The piece that I want to contribute.
By the way, it will be broken here when that happens.
Yeah,
right?
we'll break it.
Yeah,
break
for sure.
We'll
We'll
break
back.
that news
For sure.
when
Yeah,
that happens.
back.
If you want to propose on
She won't even
TEC,
be here. I'll just propose.
You can propose on air.
Yeah, that's what we're offering.
Yeah, that's good.
I was just offering
All right.
for us.
That's how.
The thing that I feel very proud of in my relationship with my wife is our relationship vision, because we have a quality-based vision. And by quality-based, and this is to use your language, Barnett, the function is what we're focusing on, not the form. So what it looks like as an outcome, I don't know. But along the way, here are the things we know are fundamental to how we want to be in a relationship with one another. So, I mean, the first item is we play and have fun together. Second item is we relate openly and honestly without fear of saying the wrong thing. And you can watch the Wives show, and I run through all of this there. But, I mean, bringing it back now because... again, looking at my parents' relationship and their agreements, there's some things I'd like to change. I mean, they've been together. I'm 46 years old, 47 soon, and my brother's a few years older than me, so they've been together over 50 years. And I'd like to do it different. So, there's two versions of this. One version is where the status quo tries to maintain itself, or where the status quo operates as a launching pad. And you and I were talking about parenting last week, and how this is the best I've known how to do. Now go, kid, and do something different. That is a fairly new paradigm in that the status quo likes to self-generate. Like, I want my kids to know the rules and play the way I played. But the consciousness that we've committed to is about, and Barnett, you say this every week, it's developmental. We don't want to keep tracking back and reinventing past. We want to take the best of what we've created till now and say, great, that's the best we've known how to do. Now go, kid, make something out of it.
Well, and if you can embody that message it's one thing to say it, but you also have to live it. A message that says to a child, you can be, or to a spouse, I love you. I commit to loving you. You can be more than me. You can be less than me, however you hold that. And you can be the same as me. You don't have to mirror me. You don't have to fit into how I am holding you.
True freedom.
I'm giving you space to be who you are. You can differentiate.
And the thread through all of this is what we started with, which is there's enough self-awareness, there's enough sense of personal authority that we can now improv, that we can now wander off and know that we may fall down, but we'll be okay.
Exactly.
So that is the freedom on the other side of, control. On the other side of the status quo and the way things have been, is what we look for in leaders now is not a full menu of how it's been done. It's the security to innovate, because our world, whether it's business or relationships, requires some level of growth. More places that we look at the reflection and say, wow, we don't want to recreate that. And it's everywhere. From, I don't want a corporate job. I don't want to keep destroying the planet. I don't want to find a spouse and then settle.
Yeah.
Settle
Lots
down.
of this is reaction, though.
Well, we don't want to do it as reaction. We want to do it with some wisdom.
Yeah. Some of it is reaction. Reacting to, and then some of it can be a response toward.
Right.
Can be
conscious choice makers.
Conscious choice makers. Exactly. So, what I heard you say is, well, here's the way it has been done. I'm not reacting to it. I am choosing I'm choosing to go for something that calls my heart rather than do it the same way or react to it. And I love that. I love that discernment that you're making.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, across the board, this is across the board in my life. My mission is to raise the bar for humanity. To be so gangster, to be so dope, to be so beautiful, to be so joy-filled, to know my shadow and my light, all of it. That there is that I don't die with my dance still in me. That I don't leave this so-called planet with anything left over. And to get to a point, because my understanding is that the universe used to birth a couple way showers. They'd be like, oh, here's a Jesus, here's a Buddha, here's a Krishna, here's a, Mary, Mother Teresa, et cetera, et cetera. At this point, our immune system is calling for a lot of us. And the idea is that it takes a village to raise a village. And I know that a part of me needs to step out on the ledge, to be willing to fall face down. Because every single time I've done that in my life, in the micro and the macro, it has turned out magic.
Yep.
So I'm willing to step out there and have it be like, oh, no one's out here with me.
You're embracing the awkward. Because it will be awkward. The nature of an innovation is you can't see it from here. Right? That's the very nature of it. So again, if we're talking about something that is yet undiscovered, we call it the sacred I don't know. Is that I've got ideas. It's not like I have nothing to ground in. I've got some ideas. But more importantly, the impetus is some kind of function, some kind of quality that I want more of. Connection, for example, service, creativity, joy, fun. I don't know. There's a whole litany of qualities that I feel deeply rooted to generating and creating with the choices in my life.
Yeah.
And I want my relationship to be an expression of that. I want my vocation, my work to be an expression of that, right? I want my friendships to be an expression of that. We call it the space between us sometimes.
You know what it is? It's petting the horse. It's me stepping up. Yeah, exactly. And just going for it. And for those of you who don't know that episode, go back and look up Petting the Horse. But like that's how I feel about life right now. I'm just like, let's go. I'm charging on the wave as opposed to making sure I don't get hurt. And like I feel like that's what we're all up to. And that's exciting.
I think you're right. I love that you cited that show. It was a powerful show. It was a beautiful show. And there is this space between what we know and where we are calibrating that we don't know. And the courage, the heart to be in that space. And it has seasons. It ebbs and flows. It waxes and wanes like the moon. It's full and it's new. And so there are points in that when we flow along and it's just the best groove. You just catch it and it's just the best groove. And then there are points where the moon just seems to disappear. And we have no knowingness whatsoever. And the temptation is to look back. And to look for certainty. And to look for firm grounds beneath our feet.
If I just had a job.
If I just had a job. If I just had a relationship. If I just had some security. If I just had some safety. If I just. The courage that it takes to stay there. And then there is this point where you're so far into that zone that
we're sunk. We're so far in, there's no turning back.
There is no turning back.
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You can't.
Good one.
Yeah, no, I mean, at some point you bite the apple and now you know, and now there's no turning back and it's going to be a ride. And there's some level of like, okay, I can deal with that.
And there is a community there.
There is.
You find your kin. You find your fellow travelers. And there's power in the telling. If you don't have that community, it is very difficult not to go back, not to, when it gets tough, it's very difficult not to seek security in the past.
Indeed. And it will be misunderstood. I mean, that's the other thing, at least for me.
It will or we will.
I will.
You will.
You know, it's interesting because on this show, one of the things, if we wander too much, in moments we wander and it's incomprehensible and it's boring. In other moments we wander and we wander into something, and that's a commitment we've made, we don't always hold to it. We like to track back to the things we've said last time because, look, there is some building too. So it's not entirely just us grasping for some sense of, safety. But that element comes too.
Big time.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say today?
Not a thing.
Okay. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, man. Thank you.
We want to let folks know where they can get involved with the Love Mob.
thelovemob.org, or you can go to prestonsmiles.com or at Preston Smiles, absolutely everything in the world, because I'm everywhere. Ooh, ooh. No, I'm just playing.
You're not really. You are everywhere.
I am.
At least in my world, you're everywhere.
The universal mind, I'm everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I live by the creed that love will find a way, everything else will find an excuse, and that's where it is.
Great.
We're so glad you're here.
Loved
so glad you're
having you on the show. We, of course,
You'll be
invite
back.
you to come back. Bring the ring with you. And bring her, by the way. She's lovely. And we had her on a call recently. She's fantastic. So she absolutely has wisdom and beauty. And so we could do that.
We want you, if you like the show, please come back. Be sure
subscribe,
to
follow.
Subscribe, do all those cool
like
things.
us.
And come back to hear Preston's proposal. I'm just saying.
Thanks for watching Cutting Edge Consciousness.